So now we are playing the pre-recorded session as well as the introduction video of Adarus Gonzalez. Thank you so much. Shruti will help us. Thank you.
Ada Luz Gonzalez, speaker, author, leadership expert, and conversation strategist, has helped thousands of leaders and couples, over 30 years, become connected through conversations. As a PhD in organizational behavior and a licensed marriage and family therapist, she deeply understands systems thinking, brain psychology, and human behavior. Her lifelong focus has been on how people can learn and transform throughout the life cycle, as well as the blocks to success and change that derail them. Her expertise in human behavior, brain psychology, and communication is rooted in her education and many thousands of client hours.
Hello, I am Dr. Ada Gonzalez, and I am really excited to be in here with all of you. And my talk today is about how to lead with conversations that connect. Because the 21st century require a type of leadership that connect, being that in the workplace or in your own business, if you are just having a conversation, a sales conversation, or if you are having a conversation with the people that collaborate with you, you need to know how to have conversations that connect. The other day, I was at the supermarket when I heard the sound of something breaking maybe a couple of aisles beyond where I was, and immediately a loud torrent of words, things like, "You can be such a clumsy fool. You never do anything right. I don't know why I put up with you. You are a good for nothing blinkety blinkety blank." Well, I'm sure you have heard or even witnessed something similar to this, being that in the workplace or in the supermarket or on a park or even with your own family. The first sentence that comes out of your mouth can connect or can repel other people. And when you hear things that you don't like, things like, "I don't care," or "What's your problem?" or "Why are you so clumsy?" or "How come you did that wrong?" you immediately want to close your ears and run away. You don't want to stay there talking to that person. And these are the kinds of negative words that can bring problems, conflicts, and create havoc in relationships. So over time, if you keep saying more critical things than positive things, you end up forgetting how to have positive connections and how to have positive conversations. And you know what? If you don't learn to communicate better, you risk becoming financially and emotionally bankrupt, out of a job, heading to divorce court if it is with your partner, or unable to make your business profitable because you don't have enough connections. So the challenges, the changes, and the type of work that we face in this new century require more than ever that collaboration and that conversation that needs to be mostly face to face, because you really don't get the same when you are just on a Zoom like we are right now, even though we cannot connect. But it's not the same. And it's not the same as if you are just on the phone or if you are just texting, because you are missing a lot of the elements that help with that connection. And misunderstandings are more likely to occur. The opportunities for innovation can be lost because you didn't notice something. And the teams come together more easily in agreement if you are having face to face conversations. Interpersonal relationships are really the foundation for building consensus between people. And these are nurtured by conversations, not only by the conversations that have to be with the subject, but even by informal conversations. So leaders and entrepreneurs really need to have more conversations than what we usually have, I think. Margaret Whitley said, a leader these days needs to be a host, one that convenes diversity, who convenes all viewpoints in a creative process where our mutual intelligence can come forth. And to me, that's really the real challenge of diversity. Is not how many diverse people you have or you work with or you interact with, is how can you help diverse brains come together in conversation. Because after all, if you are a leader of your own business or of an organization, you spend probably around 75% of your time communicating. And yet, half of the leaders that I know and that research shows, half of the leaders really don't know enough dialogue skills to be successful, to be effective in their communication. And that is costing their companies or your own business a lot of dollars annually. Because poor communication is a sure path to destroy relationships. At work or at home, your relationships suffer when you do not share your thoughts and your feelings in a way that leads to better understanding and to connection instead of misunderstanding and bickering. So, the best way to have effective communication is to engage in open dialogue. Dialogue is the opposite of a monologue. A dialogue requires that different people speak. A monologue is just you talking, and that doesn't lead anywhere. When we come together in dialogue, we are making meaning together. It's about taking responsibility for your own thoughts and emotions and for your messages and for the way you communicate. And in order to have an effective dialogue, you need to be able to open a space that is safe, that you feel that you can be vulnerable, you and the people around you can be vulnerable, and that the others can embrace your understanding and their understanding, and that people are not going to misunderstood, but they are going to try to give the time and the space to for your feelings and other people's feelings to be able to be expressed without fearing that they will be criticized or ridiculed or looked at with contempt. And therefore, you will need to create a protective structure where all the brains can be engaged. Because people that work together need to build some ground rules so that you can protect that process of dialogue. Something as simple as not swearing, if that's something that is important for you and your group, that will protect the process of dialogue. It cannot be a free-for-all where everybody will just say whatever comes to their brain in whichever way it comes, and then feelings are hurt and people decide not to open their mouths. And in order for that space to be safe, you also, above everything, need to show respect and acceptance. Because partners take each other seriously and treat each other kindly. When that happens, then screaming, attacks, or cursing is not tolerated. Emotions are going to be kept on check. And all parties will be willing to listen and to consider all perspectives, because your perspective is not the only one. And so you will build tolerance and respect for the unique strengths of each person, and you will include everybody's thoughts. You will remember that differences add to the collective benefit, and that acceptance and trust develop as opportunities for interaction increases. So, at the same time, dialogue will require that you silence your own mind, that you don't keep talking, thinking random thoughts all the time. And you need to recognize that you can learn from everybody. There is always something you can learn from everybody, even when you don't agree with their ideas, especially if you don't agree. Conversations otherwise will become boring and ineffective if nobody feels that they can speak their mind. Conversations falter and fail when opinions and worldviews clash, because then it causes people to become defensive. Now, the problem is we all have different ways of thinking and looking at the world. So if you are clashing, if you are having a bad, negative debate type, your conversation will escalate into conflict. It will disintegrate into silence eventually. But on the other hand, dialogue is fundamental for relationships to be created and nurtured. And it's really the glue that holds relationships together. It's thinking together in relationship. It's talking with others, not talking to others. I will repeat that because it's important. It is talking with others, not talking to others. I grew up in Cuba, and Cubans can be loud and like to talk a lot. But I remember many evenings experiencing conversations in my parents' porch where people would come sit down on the rocking chairs or other kind of chairs and express their thoughts and opinions forcefully with passion. But I knew that at the end of the evening, everybody will hug everybody else and the relationships will keep being as strong as they were before, because people were talking with each other. They were talking in the context of strong, loving relationships. And I think that's how my fascination with conversations started. But yet, when communism came, and nobody could be sure who was an informant or not, those open conversations stopped because nobody could trust what would happen if they said the wrong thing that could be interpreted as anti-government. So, unfortunately, I found out after I left communist Cuba and came into the free world that many times people in business or in love relationships or in families many times feel that they need to walk on eggshells because they are fearing the reaction of others, or they are fearing that the other person is going to stab them on the back. Connections happen in conversation when people feel seen, heard, valued, and validated. So, fruitful conversations lead to connections and to effective action. What makes those conversations effective? Well, I want you to remember just 3 C's, the 3 C's of effective dialogue. Number 1, clarity. You don't get to clarity by being judgmental or assuming that you know it all. Sometimes you can be so sure that you know what the other person is going to say that you stop listening. And then you jump in with your own opinion, only to find out that you were really out of left field because that was not really what the other person was thinking. To gain clarity, you need to be able to be willing yourself to speak with clarity, but also you need to be willing to listen deeply to understand. And you need to take the time to reflect on what is being said. Listening means that we need to listen not only to the words that are spoken, but also to what is not being said, to the ideas, to the emotions, and only listening with our ears, with our eyes, with our mind, and with our heart will be what will let us listen deeply, listen to understand. I worked with a couple of partners a few months ago who were getting ready to dissolve their partnership because they couldn't work together well. And one of them recognized that he had been in several other partnerships before, and for one reason or another, it had been terminated. So he decided that this time around he wanted to make an effort to save that partnership. And in exploring the situation, we realized that the main issue was that neither of them was truly listening to understand and appreciate each other. Each one was tending to think that their thoughts were the right ones, and they could not see beyond their difference. They could not see that their strength came precisely because they have different ways of thinking and different ways of analyzing situations. Now, when they learn to really listen to each other, they develop a new appreciation for what each of them brought to the partnership. And then they were able to work together, to keep working together, and their small business just took off because now they were really collaborating together, which takes me to the second C, which is collaboration. If you see your conversation partner as your enemy, you will not be able to collaborate. You will be afraid that your ideas are not good enough. You will be afraid that the other person will not listen to your ideas. You will be afraid that you will not be valued. You will be afraid that your ideas might be stolen. You will be afraid that you will look stupid, and therefore you will shut up. But unless we cultivate openness of mind and curiosity and flexibility, and you share your values and your ideas clearly, your communication will not be effective. The brains that work together bond together. So, through storytelling, to dialogue, to empathy, the diverse brains can connect and create a culture of collaboration, of creativity, and of openness that will move your business forward. Because we learn better together and we learn from each other's experiences. And that's why it's important to share stories about successes and stories about failures too. Because the greatest service you can offer others is to share and explore together your own thoughts, your own feelings and dreams and wisdom. And then the third C is compassion. So the first C is clarity, the second C is collaboration, and the third C is compassion. We live in a construct world where many people, maybe you sometimes also, would rather trample over others in their quest to win and common thought. And that's when words become weapons and people go for the other person's shoulder. A common excuse I hear for lack of compassion is, well, I just need to be honest. Yeah, I get it. You do need to be honest, but you don't need to be cruel. Honesty and kindness need to go together. Compassion will encourage you to embrace mutuality and to remember that if you want others to treat you with compassion, you need to be compassionate too. So, I really hope that my few words will propel you to care enough to connect through conversations. Because, effective communication is really not rocket science. When you say that you don't know how to communicate better, what you really are saying is that you don't care enough to be clear, collaborative, and compassionate. In other words, you prefer to see your relationships disintegrate and your career flounder instead of learning or relearning how to communicate better. You don't want to put the time and effort into conversations that connect. Yet, if you really care enough to connect, your conversations will become the portal to wonderful relationships with others. And instead of killing relationships, your words will heal and enhance relationships. Your words will be like honey that attracts connection and invites collaboration. So again, my name is Dr. Ada Gonzalez, and I consider myself a conversation strategist. And I have worked for more than 30 years with individuals, couples, and organizations, especially around the theme of conversations that connect. And since you have listened to me today, you can find a copy of a PDF that I call Leads Through Conversations, and also an infographic that summarizes what we have just talked about. If you go to my website, transformativeconversations.com slash conversations hyphen paper. So transformativeconversations.com slash conversations hyphen paper, and there you will be able to ask for this and you will be able to get it for free. So thank you very much for your attention, and I hope that we can connect at some other time in whichever other way is possible for us. Have a great day.
Does anybody has questions? I will be happy to answer them. Sorry, for a moment I couldn't find how to unmute myself. Any questions from the audience? Melinda, put your mic on. I cannot hear.
Yeah, my mic is on. Can you hear
Okay,
me?
now I can hear you.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. What about yourself? I like your background.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was really a good start, Ida Gonzalez. So it's really a very informative speech. So we have a question from audience. So, so what are the main things? What is the major criteria? I mean, to become a leader. So, what are the qualities should have to become a leader? Is it easy to become a leader, or
Well, yes
anyone
and
can become a leader?
yes and no. Everything has an up and a downside. uh, the most important is your own mindset. If you think that you can be a leader, you probably will be a leader. And if you, because there is enough information in this internet age that we live in, for you to gain any knowledge you might need to gain in order to be a leader. But you have to have the disposition, you have to have the security in your own self, be sure of who you are. And that's the main thing. If your mindset is that you can be a leader, and you can start small, just start with a small group that you can lead, and then you will gain experience there, and you will be able to keep growing as a leader, and then your leadership will expand as you gain more experience. I know that's the
Yeah,
short.
that's correct. But
You still look
right.
beautiful.
I mean,
I,
communicating with the people is very important. How to communicate and how to gather the information and how to handle the situations, right?
right. So besides having confidence in yourself, you need to learn, you need to look for information, you need to research, you need to go to the internet and find ways in which you can learn how to be a better leader. But the reason I say that a lot of it is mindset, and being able to collaborate and to have the right kind of conversations, is because you don't need to know it all to be a leader. You just need to be able to have conversations with people that bring out the best of their brains, because that's why you have a group of people around you when you are a leader, so that between all of you, you can come to better decisions and you can lead whatever it is that you are leading. If you think that you know it all, it's actually worse, because you will be a leader that will make many mistakes. If you can collaborate with others and you can listen to what they have to say, then it's a lot easier. Like, there are organizations that are big, and they have certain problems that the people down the ladder are dealing with, but the people on top decide that they are going to do X or Y to solve the problem without even talking to the people that are experiencing the problem. And so then the people that are experiencing the problem probably could have some pretty good ideas on how to resolve it too. And if you listen to them and you collaborate, then there will be a much better solution than if the people just on top, the leaders, decide what is going to happen, and they then throw it down the line. And when it finally gets to the people that have to implement it, they go like, oh, this is not going to work.
Yes, Aida, thank you so much for the informative speech. Yes, experience matters a lot. I think, right?
Yes.
We need to learn from our experiences. We can learn. Yeah, of course, there is an internet, so everything we can get from the internet. So it's easy. So thank you so much, Aida Gonzalez, for the informative speech and well answered for the questions. And have a wonderful day.
And if any of you came late because the speech started early, if you go to the link that I dropped on the chat, you can get a paper that more or less makes what my talk in there, and an infographic that just puts it in a concise way, and you can receive that for free. So don't be shy and ask for it.
Guys, it's free. It's for free. It's for free. So just go for if you want the infographic of the talk, go to this link. So that is www.transformativeconversations.com/conversation-paper. So just go to this link if you need any infographics. So yeah, she will help you out. Thank you so much. It's really amazing presentation. It's really a good start. You are the second speaker. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye bye.
Bye bye. How do I get out of here? I don't know.
And so if you want, yes, just no problem. Just click on the backward button. You can see in Paris as well. So if you want to join the session to share your thoughts or any comments, you can directly click on the Zoom link. So you can join and you can share your thoughts. Okay, and let's move on to the another speaker.